Good evening, everyone, or good morning, depending on which part of the world you're based in. I'm based in London, so it's evening for me. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, and welcome to Digital Art Mile. We're going to be discussing everything about Digital Art Mile, about the plans over the next couple of weeks and this month, in partnership with the Tezos and Trilitech guys. We have Alex and Vinciane co-hosting with me today on stage. How are you guys doing?
Hey, good to be here. So excited to talk about this space, and thanks for co-hosting with us today.
Yeah.
Hey, great to be here.
was that sound effect from you, Alex? Because it definitely wasn't me.
Yep.
I like it.
Just making people wake up a little bit. It's evening in London, so I'm sure everyone had a long day.
Yeah, I definitely needed that. I had the sleepy vibes when I started this, but you've woken me up. But yeah, look, thanks everyone for joining. Looking forward to chatting about everything art for the next few weeks. We have some amazing artists who are going to come up on stage and talk about what they've been working on and what we have coming up. I'll make sure I get all of everyone who's going to speak up here on stage. But yeah, we're going to focus on some of the projects that are coming to Digital Art Mile. I think this is the first time we are Trojan horsing NFTs into the home of the OG Art Basel. We'll call it digital art and not NFTs, because I think that's the way we can get over the negative connotations and all the gripes that people have. So we'll call it digital art. But yeah, it's a great way to get our craft and what we've been doing into the traditional art world, and tell the story and tell people that it's not all just smoke and mirrors, and it's real stuff. But yeah, I'll hand it over to Alex if you want to give a quick intro about everything. I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks so much for introing the space. And hi, everyone. I'm Aleksandra Art. Recently, almost second month, joined Trilitech and leading art projects across the Tezos ecosystem. And I was fortunate to step into a partnership between the Tezos Foundation and ArtMeta, which is hosting the Digital Art Mile. And as part of that partnership, we've invited some of the best curators behind the platforms in our space, including Objkt and FX Hash. So we have Olha from FX Hash. We have, I think, is that Kika behind Objkt? I can't see your face clearly here. Yep. And so today we wanted to use this as an opportunity to talk about some of the projects, talk about the artists that are going to be a part of this, talk about just, I think, generally, because it's such a big milestone, and I guess I've been going to arts fairs for the last 10 years, and Miami and Hong Kong is nothing like Basel. Basel is where the European old school collectors are. And last year, me and Annika Mayer were running around trying to find anything connected to NFTs, and it was a complete fail. So the fact that Georg is bringing on such a massive scale this fair, it was quite a challenge, I think, for many people. And I think a lot of our teams had to look differently at how they present digital art. But yeah, I'm just going to quickly pass on the words to Vinciane, my colleague, who's been sort of like from the early stages of this partnership, bringing it, and then we can pass on the words to Objkt and FX Hash to intro their projects.
Hi, everyone. I'm not going to speak too much because I want to make sure we have time to speak to Objkt, FX Hash, and all the artists who've joined us today. But similarly to Alex, I'm really excited to see digital art take over the art scene during Art Basel, and really excited as well to be able to present so many amazing artists and artworks to an audience who might not be so aware about digital art as we are all here in this space. I think what Georg and Roger are doing with the Digital Art Mile is really exciting, and they've put a lot of thought into how it's been structured. And Objkt and FX Hash will have already curated and announced their amazing curations and groundbreaking curations, which they'll be presenting at Space 31 in Basel. That fair will be free for everyone to come and look. I think the opening times are midday to 8 p.m. every day. So if you are in Basel, please make sure to check out the amazing curations from Objkt and FX Hash. And without further ado, I would love to have Objkt chat to us a little bit more about the curation. And Kika, who I think is speaking from the Objkt handle, if you could tell us a bit more about what you've got planned, that would be great.
Of course, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Kika Nicolella. I'm the curator and head of partnerships of Objkt. Well, hi, Aleksandra. Hi, everyone. Happy to see some of the artists of the show here. Yeah, it's very exciting to be participating of this first Digital Art Mile. Super thankful for Tezos for the support, and Trilitech, Aleksandra, Vinciane have been amazing so far. It's been great working with you. And we were aware this is an art fair, right? So we have curated before many exhibitions, but this is in a context of an art fair, and it's in a context of the art fair, which is the Art Basel. And we were interested in also in this whole tension between the collectors, the traditional collectors, and this new wave of collectors, and how to present NFTs. I'm not so afraid of this word. I think it's important because this is a new art market we are creating here, and digital art is a very, very old story already. It's been there for decades, but what is new, I think, is this new way of distributing and connecting directly with collectors. And we've been talking often with traditional collectors, and we feel that this resistance is somehow fading, and we hope this exhibition is going to help push that even further, because we are presenting 17 amazing artists from different generations, from an 85-year-old pioneer from Brazil, and another one also digital pioneer, also from the 70s, but also young generations coming from the NFT space, and also celebrated generative artists like Zancan, Kubibi, and the amazing OONA, who is going to be there with a new installation. ThankYouX with a new artwork that also it's talking about this bridge between digital and physical. And the whole exhibition is really about artists who are working in this, blurring these lines between digital and physical. So this is not a new discussion, but being in this context of this art fair, I think is very important to say, hey, NFTs can be anything. It can be a painting, it can be a hologram, it can be anything, actually anything. But those artists, they go even more far on this discussion by really going back and forth sometimes between processes that involves digital algorithms, and then coming back to something that is like oil painting, or like LoVid, who goes back and forth between video and fabric, and then
yeah. I just don't want to give away too many teasers. We are definitely going to jump into deeper about.
Too much, right?
We have questions for everyone, so I think we're just going to do like a brief overview, and then we're definitely asking questions to each artist and specifically about the curation. I'm just going to quickly pass on the words to you, Olha. Let's go, FX Hash.
Let's go, FX Hash. Thank you, Alex. Hi, everyone. I'm Olga. I'm head of events and art projects at FX Hash. very, very excited for next week. Already coming for install this weekend, and it's just thrilling to imagine how all these artworks are going to be looking in a space. It's even more exciting to think that this is inaugural, the first edition of Digital Art Mile, the fair dedicated to digital art. So in a sense, we're creating a small microcosm as FX Hash, but it's a part of a larger microcosm. And yeah, it's just lovely being part of this community as always. I'm going to go brief, not giving out too much in advance, but I think for this art fair, for us, it was a challenge and also a very interesting task to think how to create a bridge between how we as space and platform are thinking and feeling about the medium of generative art, and how that story from our perspective can be bridged, can be told or communicating without the overload of all this new language that even we sometimes feel lost around, and really shifting focus towards the art presentation and how it can be very accessible, how it can be readable, how you can really connect with the viewer, and really talk about like technology is something that empowers the medium, as it does right now. And the concept is called end-to-end. It's about communication flow, of the algorithmic narratives between digital and physical reproduction. Of course, it's very similar to what Objkt has done and or everyone is doing it. I think it's right. We're coming to Basel, and we know that the audience there is very critical and very used to and spoiled by all this like grand presentations and the Art Basel Art Fair. And I think it's very strategic, and we'll see if it works. But I'm curious to see, how we can really like you said, present the digital art in various formats and really shift the perspective a bit of how we usually think about it or how other people usually think about it. So we're presenting 3 main projects. We're going with strategy of less is more, so we can put more communication into this fantastic pieces by Aleksandra Jovanić, Jonas Lund, and Andreas Rau. And we're doing a small special project, which I will talk about in a bit, generative art kiosk, also about facilitating access, and hopefully will help to learn the lay audience more about generative art. I'll stop here. Thank you.
I love that. My favorite argument to the traditional art world in favor of digital art, which I think works every single time to anyone, actually, not even just people who are from the trad art world, is how much of your time during the day do you spend looking at a wall versus how much of your time during the day do you spend looking at a screen? And we all look at, like, whether it's your phone screen, your TV screen, your laptop screen, your monitor, like we're literally looking at screens like almost 24/7. And there's not, it's actually very nice to stand there and do nothing and look at a wall and just look at some art. And I think we should all do that more. But the reality is, we spend so much time looking at screens that I think this medium of art deserves a place in today's world. And I think that's an argument which I think normies, if you like, can understand better. So unfortunately, I'm not going to make it out to Basel in a couple of weeks' time. But for everyone who is, please feel free to use that as you get people frowning upon you. But yeah, guys, should we move on to some questions? We have a general question actually for all the curators. So maybe we can go one by one. But as you guys know, the audience in Basel is going to be very different from the typical audience we get at Web3 events. This is really the OG of the OGest art event out there. Did this have an impact on your curation? Like, were there different things that you guys thought about before making these decisions, or did you just go with how you would have curated for it for if it was a Web3 native event? Maybe let's start with Objkt on that question.
Yeah, I think one of the things about Objkt is really the enormous diversity, and it's a big also community. So we, for every single event that we participate, we always consider the context. Always it's And for example, even if it's a Web3 event, even in that case, it's different each time, right? So like in Lisbon last week, we really thought of a presentation that was full of videos, basically audiovisual works, because that was the context of the stage that we were. And this time we really thought about artists that has a extensive career also in the more traditional art world. Many of them are collected by MoMA or collected by uh, big public collections and also private collections, but that have also many pieces on Objkt on Tezos. So that was one of the things that we thought was important. But also it was important for us to onboard some pioneer artists that were not here yet. And by the other hand, also introduce 3 emerging artists that are uh, not so well known yet on the circuit of the more traditional art world. So we try to mix the 3 approaches, but also, of course, always thinking about who we are talking with and which context also.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you want to stay genuine to the stuff that we have, but at the same time, you want to find the things that it's our natural human instinct to try and please, and it's this like battle between trying to please versus like trying to stay genuine and picking the right balance. I don't envy you guys, because I would struggle to be to do it in your guys' positions. But yeah, how about the same question to you, Olga?
Yeah, I think it's similar in a way, reflections as well. Like I said previously, we often think about the audience in Basel. Like there is also some level of expectations which we don't have to follow, but I also feel like it's the context that kind of like pushes a little bit for some of the frames to be pushed, but some of the frames to stay, you know, to kind of like have that line of familiarity of a dialogue. That's why for us, I think it'll be interesting to see how we're going to be balancing, like I said, the language and some of the presentations. But also when you present digital art, right, for an exhibition, it's one thing, but for art fair, there is such a specific format and medium of very immediate click between the viewer and the artwork. And I think it's interesting. It's going to be quite interesting to see how. I'm sorry. I just. Yeah, I think for us it's. Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like I kind of almost like answered. I just don't want to repeat or reiterate the thoughts from something that I previously thought. I think it's quite straightforward. One thing we'll definitely would want to look after is to see how to craft our programming that probably we would love to have it different to the normal Web3 events, and it would be very much focused on one-on-one interaction between people coming to the fair and the FX hash. So just fostering that communication to the next level. Yeah.
How much, out of curiosity, like how much interaction do you guys have with the event? How much pre-explanations do you guys have to give, and how much of the actual pitching of the artworks do you guys have an opportunity to do before everything gets put up there?
Yeah, we thought about it quite a lot, and I think like an exhibition, when you come and you have to experience everything on your own, right? There is like a text on a wall, there is self-descriptory things. I think on the contrary here, want to create a very active space for a dialogue where we as FX Hash team are going to be very actively involved with talking of the people and telling the story of each of the 3 works. That's why we went for less is more, so we can actually facilitate that aspect. And in a sense, we don't have any text on a wall. We're going to be having a printed catalog. So we like going with a thoughtful strategy that everyone can leave the FX Hash booth with a piece of information if they don't feel comfortable talking about it, they want to learn more, that all that information about how you can can collect a piece of generative art via NFT or as a physical, how you can do that even outside of the booth. Because something that we present as a physical, you will be able to purchase on site without the wallet, but then the NFT can be transferred to you later. So you can buy a physical, and then the NFTs paired to it can be transferred to you later. But this is something that is specifically offered at the fair on site, and we want to extend how you can do things independently if you are exiting the fair. So some of the pieces of information that we're going to be distributing through our printed catalog is going to be actually explaining in a very approachable language, like how can you, for example, redeem a tapestry by Andreas Rau at any point at home, and you can do it in a relaxed atmosphere, not at the fair. So it's about having something at the fair right here. You can buy it now, but it's also living with, hopefully, an understanding that you can then go and collect more of these beautiful artworks online and still go through this whole journey from the digital to physical on your own through FX Hash.
Awesome. It's amazing. By the way, it's so nice to see lots of familiar faces in the audience. We also have a few guys up on stage. We have Benny on stage. We have Ryan, ThankYouX on stage. I'm very gutted that I'm not going to be there with you guys in a couple of weeks. I'm definitely feeling the FOMO. So you'll have to not take any pictures and post them on social media, so I don't feel bad. I'm just joking. Post away and post as much as you want. All right, let me pass it over to Alex. Alex, you want to go ahead with some of the more detailed questions for the curators?
Yeah, and we're gonna try not to post pictures, but my fingers are crossed. So I think one thing that everyone will also get to enjoy is Kika, the Ana Olivia Cordeiro interactive installation you guys are bringing in, which I know the team spends a lot of time designing, and would love to maybe give you a chance to share more how that's going to look like and what kind of experience people can expect. And for those that are not going to be there, what are they missing out on?
Yes, it's a huge honor because Ana Olivia Cordeiro, she is basically the first person who used computer to create choreography. So she's an artist, and she did that in the 70s. So her videos from that time are in all the major collections in the world because they are really very, very important. And she spent her whole career after that, for decades, really researching the relationship between the body and the computer. And in 2019, so it's a much more recent piece that she presented at ZKM in Germany. She started with this installation called Mutatio, which basically has a Kinect, so it has a sensor of that scans the bodies and the movement of the visitors. And you are then you can see your body being seen by the algorithm that she created with Newton Lobo in one screen. So you see how you are being interpreted, let's say, by what they developed. And in another screen, every 30 seconds, you have a new image that is generated, which is a very abstract piece that has traces of your body and your movement, but it's very, very abstract, so you almost cannot recognize, but you can a little bit, let's say. And those so that's the installation that they already had. But what we are doing, we Objkt, certainly not me, but the devs, they are creating a live minting experience of these pieces, which are generated every 30 seconds. So basically, during the time of the whole fair, we're going to have this live minting being generated every 30 seconds, which by the end means approximately 5,000 pieces, which are going to be available for the people at the fair to buy, but also people at home. But once the fair is over, the meeting is over, and also the pieces we might still have a little window of opportunity to buy those pieces, and then the unsold ones are just they just disappear. So it's really, you have the chance to buy them to acquire them during the installation, and then they're gonna be gone. And each piece it has the tag also of the time that it was created.
I can't wait to try it out. Can't wait to mend the work.
Plus, it's super fun, apparently. I mean, apparently, no, I tried it because she's having a solo show in São Paulo, and I was there by total chance. And it's really fun.
Okay, amazing. We have so I don't think we can fit actually all the artists on stage right now. So my suggestion is we'll be inviting everyone to sort of speak a little bit more about their work. Olha and Kika, if you want to sort of like invite artists, and then after you share about your piece, we'll be sort of like slowly switching. I can see sort of like maybe just starts in the order I see on my screen. I know ThankYouX, you've released work before an Objkt, but this is sort of like the first time you're releasing without a collaborator, right?
Yeah, actually, it's my first time on Objkt, but I did do a Tezos collaboration with the Grammys in 2022. But I'm very excited to work with Objkt and and be next to like a bunch of artists that I admire. So, and to do it at Basel is just going to be incredible. I think it's interesting because like when we go to Miami for Basel, I've never been to this one. This is like the Holy Grail, so I'm like very excited to go. But there's not like a place that's taken serious necessarily on a big level, and definitely not from like the quote unquote traditional world. That's like a big digital art event. There's a ton of cool events, but they're not like necessarily even known by the art world or anything like that. So the fact that this one is, kind of part of the programming of Art Basel, even that it's like right next to it, and it's going to be like celebrated by a lot of traditional collectors and visited and get a lot of foot traffic, is very exciting. And I think, what OSF said earlier, it's kind of like, we're Trojan horsing it, and it's going to be like a secret way to infiltrate them. So it's going to be pretty fun.
You're just loading on the FOMO, aren't you guys? Appreciate that. Yeah. How long are you going to be? Are you going for the whole thing, Brian? Are you going to be there for the whole thing?
Yeah, I get in. I believe I land on the 9th, and then I'm there till I think like the 13th or 14th. I know there's a ton of events going on, and I'm just excited to. It's my first time in Switzerland, which I've always wanted to go, so I'm excited to just kind of be there and meet new friends, hang with old friends. I know Benny's on stage, and he has to go to Basel because he's on this stage, so it's confirmed that he's going now. So that's great.
Go ahead, Benny.
I actually won't be going this year. I'm taking my wife on vacation to Paris, but
to Switzerland.
Is Paris in Switzerland?
It's not, but maybe it's not that far. I'll just stop by for a day. But I'm very excited for Digital Art Mile and what Snow Crash is doing, and everybody is there. I think the Tezos team is phenomenal, and the artists are there. And honestly, we need more of this. We need more of a situation where we could talk about art and the amazing artists that we have without having to worry about prices and mints and all this garbage that we have to deal with all day. So I think that this is going to be something that's going to be amazing. And I'm sorry I'm not going to be there. I'll be hanging out with, and crying with OSF with FOMO. But I really do think this is going to be a special event. And I can't wait to see what OONA is going to do, because I have a feeling it's going to be something outrageous and crazy, but phenomenal.
That's a great transition. OONA, can you share a little bit more about what you've got planned at the Objkt booth?
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I suppose I should start with a story, because this context is just so important. So 2 years ago, 2022, with Laurie Baldwin, I did a guerrilla performance at Art Basel Miami about the breasts. where I wore this massive breastplate, completely fake, completely made out of silicone. And I held a guerrilla auction. So we auctioned off a glass of my breast milk, and as you would expect, Art Basel Miami kicked us out really quickly. The performance went on for like 2 minutes, and then they were like, bam, you're out. So for me, imagine the hilarity of getting kicked out of Art Basel Miami, and then 2 years later, still pursuing the same ideas about the breast, about the body, about the ways that the art world portrays the breast, and then all of a sudden, you're going to be in Basel, but in Basel and showing breasts. So for me, the the personal narrative arc is unbelievably wonderful, and I'm like so happy for it. And in terms of the artwork that I am displaying, no, Benny, I hate to disappoint, but it's going to be a rather simple installation. So I'm sure that everyone can relate to this sensation, but how often have we kind of, gone into a changing room or a dressing room, and you look at yourself in the mirror and the very first thing you say is something negative and you want to change it? So within the context of the art fair, I have created a dressing room or a changing room that you can enter only one by one. And when you go inside, you will see a video of kind of the changes that I have made to my physical body. And there will be a little jewelry box. And inside the jewelry box, there will be 2 silicone implants underneath a surgical light. And I'm going to face the implants face up, so that way you can see at the back of the implants, there's etched in these little serial numbers, because technically silicone implants are non-fungible and already kept on centralized ledgers. So I'm trying to show this linkage between the body, between blockchain, between beauty, and between scars, and all create this in this 60-second intimate experience. So yeah, I hope that it will be a moment for people, a moment. And again, yeah, I'm super flattered, and I cannot wait to hear from the other artists. So I will kindly pass on the baton. Thank you, darlings.
So you see, Una, she has a presentation within an exhibition, a solo show inside the show. It's really amazing.
God, she's miserable. What a narcissist.
So I love to call another artist to follow Una's solo presentation. I know that LoVid has to leave very soon, so I love to hear from LoVid.
Hi, solo to duo, but I'm here solo today.
I can't believe you're alone today.
Yeah, only in body, not in spirit. Only in this room, actually. Kyle's in this house, another place, somewhere else. Hi, good to be here, though. Virtually, I'm with so many friends.
Yeah, please talk a little bit about your piece.
Sure, yeah. So we're exhibiting a video called Coloring Book. And it kind of has a long history, long process in the making. It's kind of slowly evolved over the last few years, starting with in December 2020, we did a series of performances on Instagram Live from our studio, where we collaborated with artists, musician, video artists from different locations, and we were streaming it live on Instagram, which was just so much fun at the pandemic lockdown moment. Felt really connected to people and had friends and audience come and send us, messages. Just felt like a real nice way to engage with our community at the time through digital means. And, as we always do, we recorded the video, and after that, what we tend to do is kind of go back and forth, as Kika said, between the physical and the digital. And a lot of our impulse is obviously starting with something digital and then drawing it, making paintings inspired by it, and kind of have that embodied feeling of what it's like to be in a digital space. For us, we experience as very physical. And so we did a set of small pen drawings based on that video. And then after that, brought that back, those physical drawings back into the computer, and did some digital collage work, combining both the video recording together alongside with their translations into pen, which is something we often do, kind of mix in the two realities, the translated and the mediated and the physical. And then those collages actually ended up becoming a textile design. We do a lot of textile work also that is digitally native, but then produced via various processes, usually kind of this high-end dye sublimation on materials that either we exhibit as paintings or as wearables. And so for Coloring Book, I think like a year or two later, we released a limited edition of scarves and shirt. It was like maybe 6 or something, which is what we tend to do mostly for our wearables, of this, maybe like 4th generation of the same piece, from video to drawing to digital drawing, then to wearable textile. And that was really wonderful. And another way to think of decentralization and distribution through bodies in the world wearing digital art. That's another expansion of video. And then for the exhibition now, we brought it back into video. So the design for the textile is edited into a kind of a pretty simple, almost like a moving image painting. We think a lot about high patterns and decor. And if you look closely, I think you can really tell that there's this nuanced relationship between the handmade via pen and paper and the handmade via computer and video. That's pretty much it.
I'm so excited to see it. I've seen a lot, sort of like your recent shows, and we've been chatting, but I feel like Europe does not see enough of LoVid, and what a better place, what a better place to show than this week. We have a few pending invites for you guys. I think Leander, Alexis, and Jonas. I don't know if you've received them. If not, maybe try requesting to speak. Sometimes I know or DM me, we'll try to get you upstage. But we also have Zancan, who I haven't shared a Twitter space with for a long time. And I'm super excited to hear about what kind of work you're bringing for Digital Art Mile with Objkt.
I want to front run Zancan and just say I'm a big fan. I'm a fan can.
Let's just check 1 2 1 2. Michael, is your mic on? I think we made him shy. Whoops. All right.
Maybe he's drugged.
All right, maybe in the meantime, we can jump and we'll come back to Zancan, all the fan cans. But
Alex, I'm happy to go back to the audience so that other artists can speak. I just want to say I'm very thankful for you and for Objkt and the Tezos Foundation, everybody, for including me and all the other artists. Like what Benny said, I think this is important, that we keep showing up and talk about art, and we push art above everything. And I'm just very happy. This is a very cool thing to be part of. I've always wanted to do something with Tezos. I think that Tezos is one of those places that I'll hear about an artist, maybe on ETH, and I'll be like, wow, this artist is amazing. They're like, oh my God, like they've been blowing up on Tezos, and it's like the secret society that I didn't know about for a long time. My assistant is like a huge Tezos fan, and so he actually shows me all things Tezos, and I lurk in his shadows. But yeah, I'm very excited to be part of this, and very thankful.
Yeah, I'm also going to also step down because I'm the only person that's not an artist here, really, basically, or important. But I'll just everybody here is amazing. I can't wait to see the pictures of the event, and just these are the moments, in my opinion, where we're building our historical records. And every person that's involved here in doing this, to me, is that's what the blockchain is really all about. So I'm wishing you all the best, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Thank you. I'd love to ask a few questions to the FX Hash artist. Jonas Lund, I see your speaker. So if you could give us maybe a quick overview of your project, that would be amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I will do that. Sorry. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Nice you're here. I'm just in the middle of buying fish, so I'm a bit confused, but I will focus for a second. It's one needs dinner, you know. It's the best fish in London, so it's good times. Yeah. So for the booth, for the collaboration with FX Hash and Office in Park, we're doing like a bit of like an old school. It feels old school now. Generative piece on FX Hash, which is about moving bits around, basically. It just makes different bit shifting patterns and then pushes that to JavaScript canvas and audio context, and then it makes like moving black and white animations. It's like something which an old teacher of mine did way back in the day, like in 2010 maybe, just piping raw binary data streams into mPlayer, and then that was it. And it was like so much fun to just make these random bit shifting patterns. I understand if half the people in the audience don't have any idea what I'm talking about. Basically, you're just moving ones and zeros around, either left or right, or two steps, or one step left or right, and then you just get like random data that you push to a canvas object, whatever. It sounds really complicated, but it's really not. It's very basic. It's things you could do in the 70s, you know. So it feels like, and for me, it's like the thing I think which really resonates with me in the space of FX Hash and working on Tesos is that it's very affordable and very accessible. So it's not like it never felt like any pieces on FX Hash was like for like a money grab, you know, something that was going on art blocks or whatever. That it's just for the joy of making things and then just having that like work like that. So that gives me lots of pleasure because normally I make really complicated work, very conceptual, very like, okay, 500 million moving pieces and things that take a long time. Whereas FX Hash is like my playground where I just get to have fun and do nerdy things such as moving bits around. So that's really nice, and I enjoy that a lot. I think it's a rambling summary while buying fish. That sums it up, I think. It's oh yeah, last point. It's already live on FX Hash, so one can go there and check it out. Maybe that's easier to get an idea of what it looks like. Yeah. Thank you.
It's a pretty strong summary while simultaneously buying fish. I'll give you that. I'm impressed. Right, who else do we have to go to, guys?
I'd like.
We've also.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I would just like to mention that one of our artists, Sarah Ludi, we are presenting collaboration with Office in Part, who is also a speaker here, and they're also collaborating with FX Hash, right? So I think maybe we can hear a little bit about from Office in Part in the both collaborations.
Yes, sure. Hi, I'm Johanna from Office in Part, and and me, we are running a gallery space in Berlin, and we are existing for 5 years. And what we are really appreciating to be part in this collaboration with together with Jonas and FX Hash and with you from Objkt and Sarah Ludi is, I think that we are all here to really build the bridges between a medium that is appearing to be more highlighted, a material, a digital material that is in a way emerging again. And this is what Digital Art Mail will show in Basel, or will point the finger into during Basel or during Art Basel. And therefore, I think this is really exciting, really to understand how you mediate and communicate everything that is behind the work. So we want to talk about art, and we want to engage an audience to be interested in how the variety of digital art can be. And I think this is something that we also really appreciate and see as our role as a gallery coming or like working traditional or more traditionally with exhibitions in a space, but also featuring the materiality of our time in general. So I think that's very exciting. And for us, we know Art Basel and we know Basel very well. So it will be interesting, and I think us as collaborators can be exciting to really build the bridges.
Amazing, thank you. And I love all the collaboration that's going on here as well. We've got a few more artists who haven't spoken yet. Aurea, would you like to speak a few words about the project you'll be presenting with Objkt?
Yeah, yes, hello. It's really nice to meet those of you who I haven't met before, and great to be on stage with a lot of friends and people I am showing with for the first time. It's going to be a pretty exciting group, I think. Um, yeah, this is not exactly my first rodeo with an Art Basel, and not even, and so I think that's one of the reasons I might have been invited, that I'm one of these people who's always trying to bring a little bit of, be a bit of a Trojan horse, as I have been involved with digital art for a very long time. And with NFTs, I started on Tezos, so it's very comfortable, like I think, for me to be a part of this. And so I included a piece that I felt very comfortable with, but that I hadn't really shown. And it's it's a triptych, portraits of a young girl, basically, of a child, and with it being shown on holographic screens. Very small, very humble presentation in a way. I mean, I'm a little intimidated to be in the same room with Una, but who's gonna be this like real oversized like presence who I'm so looking forward to, and also Miss Corderio, whose name I'm murdering. I really admire like her early work so much, and I can't wait to see all these live experiences that are going to be a part of the booth. And so my little contribution is basically a small installation, this triptych, on these little hollow screens. And in 3D printed frames. It's kind of in keeping with a lot of the work that I've been doing, where I'm representing digital files for an exhibition. I'm always thinking about how can I make this something that's engaging, in a way that's different from online. So online, it has one presentation, but in the real world, it kind of has this other presence. And how can I make that something that the collectors, especially in this particular situation, are going to understand without feeling, I don't know, like it's outside of their wheelhouse, you might say. Because Basel is a bit more shall we say, conservative than something like Art Basel Miami, where everybody's kind of being all the time like very out there, and you can kind of do whatever you want, and it's kind of not weird. But I think for Art Basel, it's like a whole other vibe. And so I'm really looking forward to being there with this constellation of people, I guess, because it's way more comfortable for me in a way to be involved with other digital artists than being that like real Trojan horse that I sometimes can be in these situations where, I'm the only person showing anything digital, and it's all about like explaining everything from the beginning, like everyone is 5 or something. so, um, so I think we should all just go there and have fun with it, and like and try to like bridge the gap, like try to show up for everything that we always show up for online. Let's show up for that in real life, and like, yeah. So, yeah, my piece is called Childhood. I'm just going to put that out there too. And yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I think we've got one last artist on stage right now who's not shared about their work yet. Aleksandra, would you like to give us an overview of your project that you'll be presenting with FX Hash?
Hi, everyone. You can hear me, right?
Yes,
Perfect.
we can hear you.
So, thank you all for organizing this fair, and I'm honored to be part of FX Hash's exhibition with Jonas and Andreas Rau. I actually don't know. I actually know now what they will be exhibiting, but we all don't know how our actual pieces will look in the space. So I'm really looking forward in a few days to see how it all looks like. So for this exhibition, Olga chose one of my pieces that was released on FX Hash in September 2022, and she did some archaeology on FX Hash and found out that I have in my own reserve a number of pieces. So we decided to combine those pieces with their physical representation. So when I'm doing digital pieces, they usually implement some kind of hidden keys, animations, interactivity, or some things. So we gave our best to don't compromise all the features that my piece has in this form on computer, inside of the browser that you can experience, and to see how to translate this piece in a physical space. So we won't explain what we did, but hopefully you will all be excited as much as Olga and me are excited about the presentation of the piece. And the actual piece was released on the occasion of the tribute to Herbert V. Franke, and on a concept level, it's connected to his writings about mathematics and formulas, equations, and how they hold some meaning or visualizations or patterns that we see inside of mathematical equations. And this type of art, generative art, can show possibilities hidden inside of the math. And this is all connected to one of his essays that's called generative math, and that's something I borrowed for the title of this piece. So it's called Gen Math.
I love it, and it's not your first Art Basel, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was 2 years ago part of Tezos booth, and it was part of live minting piece. So there were 4 of us, and Herbert V. Franke had one of his videos also released as an NFT.
That's so exciting. I don't know, Zancan, is your mic working? Are you with us?
Normally it's working now. It's not the best. Yeah, it's not the best mic, but it's working at least. Yeah, technical issues. Sorry for that. So I have no idea what you said about.
We just had introductions. I think we had a little brief about what's going to happen, and would just love for you to maybe share more about the piece that you're going to be showing next week.
Yeah, sure. So I'm showing two pieces, two screens, which are originally part of an exhibition that I made in Italy, in Florence, back in September. The exhibition was called Sheltered Landscapes, and it was an amazing setting, set in an ancient shelter from World War II, transformed into an exhibition space. And they have 16 screens, 4K big screens over there. And I had designed this work especially for that place. And but well, it was obviously the best way to experience the art. But a show is limited in time and space. And even though it was beautiful, it turned out that not so many people were able to visit it. And mostly my usual audience from the NFT space wasn't able to see the works because there was no NFTs attached to it. And I've been working in finding ways to show that work to the world, to my usual audience. So I decided to turn some of these works from this exhibition into NFTs. And the works I'm showing at Art Basel are 2 more works. I've done already 2 of them as NFTs. And these are 2 more works from the series that is monochrome, black and white. And well, it's interesting because we ask ourselves a lot of questions how to exhibit the digital art and NFT art in this fair, in this web fair. And this is the question is how can people experience the art, but also we ask ourselves how people can experience the NFT art. Mostly, we are all NFT artists. Well, I'm not afraid to call myself an NFT artist because my art wouldn't exist probably in the same way if it wasn't for NFTs, especially for long form works. And we've been trying, everybody has been trying to showcase NFT art in galleries and places. And it's not working so well. People see the NFTs as video loops on screen without context. I think we still have a lot to learn on the way to show that NFT art to the more traditional public. So it's very interesting to go back and forth between the physicality of an exhibition and the way we used to show and distribute the art in the NFT space. So this is part of this reflection here that I'm trying to extract those works from a physical exhibition into the NFT space and back into another physical exhibition that is the art fair. So yeah, it doesn't say anything about the work itself. Do you want to know more?
Yes, of course. Yeah, Kika, go ahead.
All right. So more specifically about these works. So as I said, I designed the shelter landscapes for the original exhibition space, which was a long tunnel with 8 screens on the left, 8 screens on the right. And I came up with 4 series of landscapes. And the specificity of those landscapes is that they are made of 16 screens each, which can be viewed individually as a single piece, but also they connect with each other. So every screen is connected to the one next to it. And I've designed those landscapes the way I used to do with JavaScript code, mostly like I would make a long form project, but each artwork is like context aware. It knows what's next to it, so it ends up being like a super wide landscape image, but it can be collected as one single artwork. So well, the work itself was inspired by the landscapes of Italy, some historic elements that you can see through some patterns in the works that were taken from one of the church of Florence. And with this idea of a shelter, that those landscapes which are abundant but quite imaginary, they are preserved from any outside aggression. So yeah, that's the work I'm showing.
Well, it's incredible to hear, and best of luck for how everything goes next. Is it next week? Next week, I guess, or in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, it's next week, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend the art fair, which is an absolute shame. but well, we vibe for this IRL event, and I'm so sorry I cannot attend. But yeah, wish you all good luck.
Thanks, and thanks for joining and being. I think that's why it's so amazing that we get a chance to host this Twitter space, because a lot of people won't be able to make it, but what matters is that we get a chance to talk about it, and then I'm sure we're going to have more sort of findings that we can share with everyone following. Just for those that newly joined, I think we're slowly wrapping up. We'll give a chance to everyone to say some final words. So the fair runs from Monday until the weekend next week, so 10th to 16th. There is going to be, as Vinciane mentioned, it's going to start at noon and running until 8 p.m. There will be 2 different spaces. There's going to be a lot of different exhibitions happening within the Digital Arts Mile. Today we got a chance to talk about some of the participating artists, but also every day from Tuesday to Saturday, there's going to be a conference. So Rock Radio is hosting day 2, where I will get a chance to speak with ThankYouX and Farouk and Seed Phrase and and Sasha Stiles is going to be speaking there. Then on Wednesday, we have, I pinned it, the museum day. If you want to attend, you can use Tezos as a code to register. There is on Friday also the generative arts day by Random that we're doing in partnership. I'm giving a keynote which is titled "Let's Get Physical," which I think matches the theme of some of the exhibitions this year. And overall, there will be a few other activations. I think we can give a shout out to Fake Whale, who is launching a new collection with Pixel Fool and Objkt. It's something new, so I can't share full details. And also on the evening of the 11th, if you're going to be there, save the date, DM me. There's going to be also a special little reception with a certain collection unveiled, which I also cannot talk just yet. But I think in overall brief, this is it. If anyone else would like to say anything I might have missed. Otherwise, Ovi, thanks for co-hosting the space with us today, and thank you for everyone, and I'm very excited for next week.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Aleksandra Art as well, who will be presenting a free live mint at Space 31. So a great way for collectors to get onboarded into the Web3 space with a free artwork they can claim.
Great. I just want to say thank you, and also to mention that all of the pieces, including all the physical ones, are going to be sold as NFTs, and the physical ones, they have NFC technology by Aleksandra for the certification of authenticity, and it's very exciting to have been thinking also about this, about how to really sell all the pieces via NFT, via Tezos, but also, well, we accept credit cards, so so there's also that, of course. And thank you so much, and thank you all the artists too for having spoken.
Thank you so much, everyone, as well. Wanted to add from our side that in addition to the 3 projects that we present at the booth, we also prepared a special one combining 16 iconic FX Hash collections as a little retrospective to some of our favorite works that are already existing. They're already fully minted out. One of them is Guarded Monolith by Zancan, and Generative Art Kiosk is a kiosk where you can buy physicals of out-of-bounds iterations of these beautiful collections. And FX Hash booth is the very first one when you enter Digital Art Mile, and the very last one. So we hope it's going to be a very nice final touch where you can exit the fair with a piece of FX Hash and a piece of generative art. So looking forward to seeing you all at the booth. Thank you so much for today.
All right. I think, does anyone else have any leaving words before we wrap it up? I think that's it. So thank you very much to our fantastic curators who've been on here, for all the artists that stepped up and spoke about their projects, and obviously also to Alex and Vinciane for helping me co-host this show. And best of luck to everyone heading to Basel next week. I hope everyone has a great time. Please do take lots of pictures and videos. And don't think about people like me. Please document it. And it's a great opportunity, I think, to put our world on the big stage. So best of luck to everyone, and thank you for representing the world of digital art. And with that, I hope everyone has a great evening, or a great morning, or a great afternoon, depending on where you're in the world. And good day to everyone.